Howdy folks, the original Shep here. Today I'm going to be going over my 1996 C4 Corvette, giving you a real good walk around. Also, I'll be discussing some things that I want to try out, some equipment I just recently bought, and I'm going to test it on my car. So without any delay, here we go. So here's the car. It's a Polo metallic green 2 color code. It's the original paint. It came shipped with the blue tint. It's plexiglass, but it's the glass target top, the removable top. This car wasn't sold with the optional second top. Just this one here. It's got an LT1 engine with I believe a 460 LE 4-speed automatic transmission. I keep it pretty clean. There are, it's a 22-year-old car, so there are little blemishes here and there. That's fine for me. I mean, that just shows that the car, hasn't been sheltered all of its life. It's been used. Some of the things that the car have on it that I do not believe are original. Well, I know some of them are not original. For example, the rims. I don't think this car. I checked the codes. I don't see where this car was purchased with the ZR1 rims, which are these right here, which was an option. I do believe these were put on it afterward. I also believe that someone somewhere along the line took the time to put some drill and slotted aftermarket rotors on and calipers, which is a plus for me. They're in really good knit. So I put on last year the new shoes, some Nito triple nickel extremes, because the original tires, they were, they still showed plenty of tread, but they were really old tires, and you could start to tell that they were starting to crack. So I have the car set up for going to car shows, and being that this is springtime, it's starting to get on to car show season. So, you can't go to a local car show without having the die-cast replica of your car or the Hot Wheels edition. I have the original owner's manual right there. Some of the things that to get back to what the car had on it. So it's got a 2 3/4 inch stainless steel exhaust. It's a boiler exhaust system. It's got chrome aftermarket tips on it. Let's see. Some of the things that I have done to the car since I've owned it is I replaced the weather stripping. So, because the original weather stripping was pretty bad. Did that before I came up with this idea of doing these YouTube videos, so I don't have any video of that. Other thing I did was I put these aftermarket seat covers on. Got them from a good friend of mine. He had a 95 convertible C4, and he sold it. And my seats are fine. They're original seats, but they're starting to show a little bit of fading and some cracking, and so I went ahead and put these slip covers on, these leather slip covers, because I take the car to a lot of shows, and down here in Texas, it gets really hot in the summertime, and I don't want my car sitting out there in the Texas sun with the seats getting baked on, so I went ahead and put these on to protect them. So, this is a view from passenger side. I also got these door sill covers, $10 I paid for them. The driver's side's got a little crack on it, but I don't care. It's the function more the form. So Let's see. Let me get over here to the driver's side. So, another thing I did is I put in an aftermarket stereo system. I still have the original stereo system. It came with the base. It did not come with the Bose system. So the thing with this is that if you're going to replace your stereo system in these old C4 Corvette, you have to realize that the speakers and the stereos have an output of 4 ohms. So modern stereo systems have a 10 ohm output. So you've got to either change out all of your speakers, which I did, or you have to put some resistors in on your existing system to throttle down your ohm output from your stereo if you put a new stereo in. So this one's got a Bluetooth, so I've got a microphone right there. I got the loom that connects to it, so I was able to bypass the VATS system and not give me any kind of problem. So the VATS is the vehicle anti-theft system. So the car doesn't think it's being stolen. So that was, you know, it was, well, I think it cost me like $50 something from Crutchfield. I had to do a little bit of soldering and I had to do a little splicing. And if you can do those things, you can tie in the new harness with the connectors to your old speaker connectors, so you don't have to run new speaker wires everywhere. It's not a problem. So if you can do those things, getting to the speaker panels, there's 2 in the front, 1 over there, 1 right here, and then there are 2 speakers in panels here. Now, if you get a car that has the Bose system, that's a little bit different. Those speakers are a little bit more involved, and the system's a little bit more involved. And I also know that if you get an older model C4 Corvette, say the 84 to 90, right around in there, the connections inside in here in the panels are going to be a little bit different. But there's plenty of videos out there and plenty of instructions on that, so you can do that. So I'm gonna start it up. So everything works good on the car. Let me pop the hood. Okay. So here's underneath the hood. Like I said, it's a straight, the base LT1, which is a 350 small block V8 or a 5.7 liter. Everything works. Got the air, all that works. Some things to point out on this. Good look from the other side here. So I have all of my correct stickers and seals and tags and things like that in my engine bay. I do have an aftermarket mass airflow sensor. I also have a tuning chip module from Hypertech wired into my loom. So that gives me a little bit better tuning options for the car. I can eke a little bit more horsepower out of it. I believe the base on the LT1 in 96 was 330 horsepower. Or maybe, no, I believe it was 300 horsepower and 340 pounds of torque. And I've got an aftermarket exhaust system that's a bigger exhaust system than stock, and I've got a K&N intake, mass airflow sensors aftermarket, so it gives me some options with the chip to tune to get more air in and air out. So I get a little bit better performance. I'm probably running somewhere in the neighborhood of 330. And on the torque side, probably close to 360, 360 pounds of torque. It's not a lot compared to modern cars today. Hell, it's not a lot compared to some of the really old school hot rodded cars. But anyway, the car only weighs 3,700 pounds. So this will get you down the road pretty quick. So if you get it on the gas, it's gone, and it'll be gone quick and in a hurry. So it's not the fastest car, but I'm not trying to be the fastest. So I'm trying to enjoy myself. So anyway, that's a good look at the car. So what I'm going to do now is I picked up this OBD2 code reader from Harbor Freight the other day, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to run a full diagnostics on the PCM and the CCM. And what this will be able to do is not only will I be able to do a trouble code read on the car not started, but it also gives me the option or the ability to start the car and run a separate set of diagnostics, and that'll tell me what my engine's doing. So I haven't been able to do that yet, and I'd really like to. So that's what I'm going to do. So stand by. So I just took the code reader, the OBD2 code reader out of the box, and it came just like this. It does come with batteries. I already put them in. Go ahead and take the plastic out here. So it comes with a couple of cables. Comes with a cable that you can connect to your computer. I believe that's so you can upload onto your scanner updates or download possibly from your scanner to a laptop with a tuning program. So that's neat to have. But in this application right now, I do not need it, so we'll put it back in the box over there. And then it also comes with the connector cable that connects to your car. So it's got the reader, this connection right here goes to your car. And I'll show you where that goes in just a second. And then this one here is what connects to the scan tool. Put those down. You don't have to over tighten them. You just make it where it makes a good solid connection. So let me show you where on the Corvette the connector is. All cars pretty much the connector is right up under the driver's side dash. So in this car, I don't know if you can see that. I'll take my camera out and show you a better look. In this car, it's right up under the dash there, and you'll basically have to get on the ground to connect it. Some vehicles you can actually see it. It's probably right here on this side, but the dash on the Corvette's really deep, and it's got a cover that goes all the way up underneath. So the connector is all the way up underneath. So let me get that done. Give me just a second. So we're going up under the driver's side here, right up under there. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's not wanting to focus. That is the connector port to connect your scanning tool to. So I'm going to do that real quick. Well, so I connected the Zurich Z11 scan tool to my car. I ran a static test. That's with the ignition on in the on position, but not started. The tool's connected to the connector, and then you run the scanning process. This system allows you, this device allows you to go into it and select the year, the make, the model of the vehicle, and then also it gives you the options on what engine you have in your car. So this one's good for all domestic, all European, and most Asian cars. So it's pretty involved. So it was a pretty good deal too, because I was able to pick it up from Harbor Freight for like $119. So I mean, you know, you can't beat that, because normally these kinds of scan tools are like $350. So then there's also an ability to go in and select what's called the OEM, or the original equipment manufacturer's enhanced scan tool. What that does is that really gets into your computer control module, your power control module. It really gets in and diagnoses and gets trouble codes, data trouble codes for all of your modules in your car. And like, modern vehicles have tons and tons and tons of sensors. The 96 Corvette really was the first year where they started, well, first of all, it was the first year of the OBD2 system for General Motors. And there's quite a few sensors on this car, but nothing compared to the modern vehicles today. So if you're really going to get into any kind of automotive work on anything 96 and newer, I highly recommend you spend the money to get one of these tools. It will at least give you a reference point to what is causing problems, like if you get that check engine light or something like that. So much easier for you to figure it out. Like if it's a loose gas cap, or a sensor that just needs to be taken off, disconnected, and then reconnected because it just lost the connection or something like that. So these things can save you lots of money in the long run. And if you're into these cars where you want to keep them up and take them to shows, I highly recommend you get this device. So there's that. So now I've got to take the car, because there's two parts to this test. There's the static test, which is the just the ignition on and letting the system read the trouble codes. And then there is with the engine warmed up to operating temperature, which I've done both of those already. So now I've got to take the car in the enhanced mode. I've got to take it and drive it and let the system read and give me the ability to log onto the scanner if there are any codes, or if there are any trouble codes while the vehicle is running. So I'm going to do that. I'll be back. So I'm back from my test drive with the sensor, or the scan tool connected, running through its program while you're operating the vehicle. And it takes, depending on the vehicle, it usually takes several minutes to get done. Vehicle has to be at operating temperature. You have to start and stop cycle the car through all the gears, variations in RPM, acceleration, deceleration, braking, the whole 9 yards, right? So what you're doing is you're basically allowing the scan tool to check all of the varying sensors and make sure everything is operating correctly. So I had a mass airflow sensor problem. Okay, so I had to check on that. So if you don't have a set of manuals, I highly recommend that you get them. Like, and I'm not talking about, I mean, it's okay to get like a Chilton or, one of the other companies that make the manuals that help you as an aid working on your vehicle. What I'm talking about is the actual GM, or for whatever car. This is for my 96. This is specific to the Y Series 96, Y standing for Corvette, service manual. This is what, if you take your car to the dealer or to a place where authorized mechanics work on your vehicle, these are the types of aids back in the day. They use computers now, but these are back in the day they used to go through and diagnose or correct the problems that they would be finding on your vehicle or that you found on your vehicle, right? So I went through my service manual, and I had a P0100 code. I don't know if you can see that, right? So basically, that was one of the reasons why I had to drive the vehicle, to make sure, as you go through these checks, to make sure that you don't have to get a new mass airflow sensor for this situation. So what it ended up being was a loose connection. Something as simple as that. I disconnected the mass airflow sensor connector. That's the mass airflow sensor right there, the mass airflow sensor. I disconnected I disconnected pretty much all of them and reconnected them. Checked them for cleanliness, made sure the wires weren't frayed, made sure you're looking for things like burn marks or anything like that in areas where it's just not supposed to be, like on the end of the connectors or something, right? That would indicate a trouble. You had a short somewhere or something. Usually with these older cars, you get things like that. You get corrosion, that overtime corrosion built up on the leads. And all of a sudden, something don't want to work. So in my case, that was the problem. So once I got that cleaned off and reconnected and run the scan process again, it cleared the code, no problems. I did not have it come back, so I'm good to go. So that makes me a happy camper. So what I was talking about, right? So I have the Haynes manual for C4 Corvette. It's also the Chilton one for Corvette. Good manuals. I mean, for general maintenance issues or for questions that you have regarding your car, 9 times out of 10, these will help you out and help you get answers to questions that you may have. But if you're going to get really in depth into the vehicles, and really try and diagnose and fix problems on your own, I highly recommend that you get year-specific service manuals for your specific car. So, like, I've got the transmission one right there, and the Book 1 and Book 2 service manuals for the Y platform, which is the Corvette. Y standing, General Motors stands for Corvette manuals. So, and these manuals right here, I got these on eBay, and it cost me about, I want to say, if I remember correctly, somewhere in the neighborhood of $250 to $300. Okay, so yeah, pretty expensive, but well worth it. So, Also, another thing that I recommend that you do is that if you doing service on your vehicle or you get something, whatever, keep the receipts. Keep track of everything that you put on the vehicle, right? So, like some of the common things that I've had to do over time is I've had to replace like the headlight motors. Super common problem. They go bad. And I rebuilt the old motors with a rebuild kit and kept them in the box that the new or the remanufactured motors came in that are on the car now. So that's one thing. So another thing is if you've done like I've done and you've removed your radio, you've replaced your radio, you've put an upgrade in it, and you've replaced your speakers, your factory speakers and stuff, keep that stuff. Don't discard it. Mine were working just fine. I just wanted to have the ability to play a CD if I wanted, or to stream music from my phone, and also to be able to make hands-free phone calls, because here in the state of Texas, you have to do that. You can't really be driving and talking on your phone. So I did that, but I still have the original radio, the original speakers, and I have stored them. So also when I resealed the motor, way back, I resealed the engine. I put a new front and rear main seal in. While I had the engine out, I changed the water pump, put a new water pump on. Of course, I put a new OptiSpark on, changed the spark plug wires, plugs, the whole 9 yards. Pretty much resealed the entire engine. Some things that like I kept the water pump that's original to the car. But things like the OptiSpark, that's not necessary to keep. So I tossed the old OptiSpark and in lieu of the new one, because that's an item that's designed to wear out, I guess. So, but things that are the original things to your car, interior wise or exterior, if you can, and if you have the ability to or the place to store those things. Because if you ever decide to get rid of your vehicle, especially with Corvettes, originality is important. My car it's not a super low mileage car. I have 60,000 miles on it, but it's a 22-year-old car too. So 60,000 miles is not a lot of miles. So, and the thing about it is that these vehicles, all vehicles, but Corvettes especially, they peak and valley in their price range. So if you're not looking to keep a hold or stay a hold of your vehicle, and later on down the road you start seeing the price point rise on your particular model or make of Corvette, having that original stuff helps in maintaining the value of your vehicle. So, and it'll also increase the value of your vehicle. So that's that. So for whatever it's worth. Thank you for following me around today while I did a few things on my 1996 C4 Corvette. I hope you enjoyed it. Appreciate all the support. If you have any comments, please leave a comment. This is the original Shep signing off. See you next time. Bye.